All right. This is the first ever episode, right? The episode of Take It Away.
Yeah, man. Welcome to the Travel Indaba Podcast. My name is Pule. I'm gonna be your co-host, and I'm with Charles over here. We're gonna be hosting the Travel Indaba Podcast,
And we have our special guest.
Hey, hello everybody. I'm Michael. I'm
Michael Croft.
Michael Croft.
Yes.
From Yorkshire, from Leeds, and I'm a travel agent.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted to be joining you guys on this. It is a privilege to be joining you and giving my thoughts on all things related to travel all around the world.
That's very good, Michael. You've
Welcome,
been recently
Michael.
to South Africa, right?
Yes,
You've been
yeah.
recently to South Africa. Yeah, I've been to South Africa as well. Pule as well. You're from South
Have you
Africa,
been to
man.
South Africa, guys?
When
come
last
on,
have you
man.
been in South Africa?
I've been in London for like about 2 years now.
It's been taken over
of
by
going
the
home,
city.
yeah.
Absconded.
He's been taken over by the city. The lights have swallowed him. He's not going to go back.
Come to work for the man.
Yeah. So, what I realized is that on my last travel to South Africa, I was so delighted because I saw how the industry is getting back to normal. After the setback with COVID, I can guarantee you that one of the reasons why I had to relocate from South Africa to the UK, it was because of the unprecedented misdemeanors that started to occur, especially during the pandemic. And the future looked bleak. The future looked uncertain when it came to the travel and tourism industry. So, but when I went back now, last month, I was encouraged kind of when I saw how the industry slowly and gradually getting back to how it used to be. How do you say about that?
Yeah, I think it's right. South Africa was hit very hard. It seemed to have a very, very strict lockdown that continued on. I mean, I was lucky to be able to fly from the UK in October 2021.
Yeah.
And I spent about 7 weeks in and around Johannesburg at that time.
Yeah.
And it was still curfews and
Yes,
still
yes.
masks and distancing.
Oh, yes.
But having been back again, well, I was lucky. I went in March in Johannesburg of this year, and then I was in Cape Town just last month.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seems to have really picked back up in terms of visitor numbers. I know that the numbers, Pule's got more info on that.
The man of the States.
I was just going up on
The
the
man in the
table
States,
just to look at the stats as well.
Yeah.
But it did seem to be that it sadly has devastated a lot of businesses. Like in the UK and like in other countries, I think, it all depended upon how much money you had to survive. How much you could continue to pay in your rent for your premises and continue to pay your staff and your bills with no income coming in. So it has affected places, but it was nice to go to Mabening. And it was nice to go to Melrose Arch.
I mean,
they were both buzzing.
They're both buzzing,
You know,
yeah.
still nice to go to some areas. I think maybe we'll take another couple of years to come back again,
into
like
life,
Bramfontein, which is my favourite place. Like they closed the Kitchener's pub. I can't believe it's closed down. So
so,
these places to come to that encourage people in.
So Pule, what's the states? How do you?
I mean,
see,
I was gonna deep dive into the stats, looking
Yeah.
into the table. South African tourism, they do a good job in terms of like pulling up all the stats and the
stats,
data because they have the manpower for that. Unfortunately, we don't. But it's a bit difficult to look at it on my phone. But yes, I support what Michael was saying. There's been a gradual increase from how things were coming from COVID, post-COVID. Things are gradually starting to, pick up a little bit.
Yeah.
I do support what you're saying. I think one of the things that I wanted to quickly find out from you, Michael, is when you were traveling to South Africa, what are the challenging things that you think might still do better? What are the things that we can still, as South Africa, as a destination, we can, improve on?
I think the SA Tourism, the tourism board in London and in South Africa, has had a long focus on trying to diversify tourism away from the key areas for the UK anyway, talking from the UK market, which is Cape Town, Kruger National Park and the what is called the garden route along the south coast of working down from Cape Town across. These are the places where the UK market is very, very concentrated in. But I think that so many people are missing a trick by not focusing on Johannesburg, on Durban and Soweto, and these other places. There's so much more to see, and there's so much tourism income and corporate travel income that could be spread around. So what I've been focusing on over the last few years in partnership with Charles and some other people, other lovely South African people that I've met, is to focus on tourism that helps bring income in and corporate travel that helps bring income into places that never had it before. So somewhere like Johannesburg has a long average length of stay, something like 5 or 6 nights, I think. Maybe
I'll tell you what. A lot of people are sleeping on Johannesburg. Actually, if you want to go to South Africa and understand the culture, if you understand the vibe, if you want to, even the business aspect of it, Johannesburg it's very vibrant actually. I'm not talking about that because I'm from there, but I mean, I've seen, if you look at the States, a lot of people tend to focus on Cape Town, tend to focus on other areas rather than Johannesburg, of which, I mean, there was this notion of saying Johannesburg is dangerous and this and that. I mean, but like any other places in the world, I was nearly robbed in London. I mean,
talking about that, jumping into that, what you've just mentioned, the issue of safety. It is a massive issue in every country. Every tourist board that is marketing their own country, they will tell you the issue of the perception of safety is in every country. I mean, I was in New York 2019, and you won't believe this, but as it is, it's regarded to be one of the safest cities. I just a few miles across the bridge, there was a murder that happened on the bridge. And you saw a lot of police cars passing by, and you ask around what's happening. Apparently, someone's being shot dead across the bridge. So you see those things, you then realize that, oh, you know what? Actually, when it comes to like the media, they put it as if this particular city, which is Johannesburg, is so dangerous. Don't go there. But it's actually not the case.
And the funny part, if you look at the states, like the real states, you'll find that Cape Town comes higher than Johannesburg when it comes to crime. Way other cities and the way other places have been marketed. It's so like, I mean, here I've had conversations with different people and various people right here in London. Everyone, when you tell them that you're from South Africa, the first thing that they tell you is about Table Mountain, they tell you about Cape Town, they tell you about all these nice areas. I mean, yes, for holidays, if you want to go and relax, if you want to go, then you can go. But if you want, I mean, Johannesburg target, the youth side.
Johannesburg's got so much,
it's
though, hasn't it?
Much to offer. You can develop an
it's
itinerary
like a London
days,
or Paris or a New York of Africa,
I wouldn't necessarily put it, Charles, just to pick on what you said. I wouldn't necessarily put it on the, those organizations who are trying so hard to work, to change the perception of all the tourists in other regions. What they're trying to do is sometimes PR can be over exaggerated to a certain extent. Take, for instance, the campaign about the shortage of water, like the time when Cape Town was running low on water. It didn't necessarily mean that we didn't have water in Cape Town. It just basically was saying it's a caution mind how you use water. But how it got to the other countries, it was as if South Africa doesn't have water. It was as if we were running dry.
I remember I was in Cape Town. There's one hotel, I wouldn't mention it because I don't want to give them free advertisement. I was in one hotel in Cape Town during that time. Bro, we were limited. Like, even in the showers, there were 10. You know how the showers were not coming full. It was bad, trust me. But not as bad as the world perceived, but it was really bad. But, I mean, that's why I'm saying that So it's all about how, but Johannesburg, we need to really put Johannesburg out there in the map.
Yeah,
I think so.
We really
I
need
think
to.
so.
We have done a lot of work.
I think you've been yourself. You've been doing a really good job.
Yeah,
in terms
we've
of,
been
like,
trying
exploring
to
the streets of Johannesburg as well.
Because for me, when you come to me, you want an itinerary. The first thing that I'll sell you is Johannesburg. I will sell you Johannesburg, maybe in the pit of animals. I mean, because
Sure.
in Africa, you need to see some animals. I mean, but Johannesburg, trust me, there is a lot to do.
If you just want to go have a party, you know, have a nice vibe, the music, you know, that reinvigorated my love of house music going back to Johannesburg. I'd got bored of it, but then going back and you see people like Black Coffee and Kid Funk and all these people. Yeah. It's a really, really nice vibe.
It's a vibe, especially when you look at the Regeneration Project. Actually, last month when I went there, when I left South Africa, the project of Maboneng hadn't just gone over into the inner city. But now, when you go there, even the inner city has been rejuvenated. You understand? Even the inner, you can see it's all about arts. It's all about life. People there, they're like a glimpse of hope. Everyone wants to do something. How many production companies have you seen coming out of the street now? A lot of, if you got to YouTube, a lot of guys who started. There's a guy that I know. I wouldn't mention him, but there's a guy that I know. He used to be my photographer on the street in Maboneng. When I come with my tourists, he was like, "Can I take a picture with you?"
I remember.
And then now, guess what?
Yeah.
He's owning one of the biggest TV stations on YouTube.
Amazing.
You understand?
Amazing.
He's owning one of the biggest YouTube stations on. I'm like, that's, and then all his followers are from the street.
Yeah.
You understand? All his followers are from the street, right there in Maboneng.
I mean, talk about started from the bottom.
You understand? So that's Johannesburg. That's why we call it Johannesburg. You know?
Sure.
That sounds great.
That
sounds better.
So the itineraries there. You can develop, like, even in the city right there. The city life. There's got a lot of markets. The Victorias. Did you visit Victorias?
Victoria Yards.
Yeah.
I think I was with you on a.
We went together. We went to Victoria to inspect the site.
I mean, I think we even went there like around 6 o'clock at night.
Really good fish and chips.
It's
really nice fish and chips, actually. Better than in a lot of places in England. Because,
I mean,
that's for another podcast.
You're always going to talk about food, right?
No, but definitely for the next episode and stuff.
Yeah, we will talk about food.
The jeans shop called Tepo.
Tepo, yes.
So we went in there and it was a Sunday. I'd gone with Bobo and Natty. You know, Bobo makes the shoes. Moko Originals. This episode is partially sponsored by Moko Originals for your footwear and jewellery. So little.
Yeah, but Tepo was one example as well. He started.
Harry and Meghan went to Tepo and bought a pair of jeans, slightly large pair of jeans for Archbishop Desmond Tutu.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
They didn't. But
Nice.
I mean, but they had a bar. There's a bar and a disco or a DJ, as you might call it in South Africa. But there was a disco going on.
Well, big up to Tepo, man. Big
if
up
you
to
wanted
Tepo.
to buy some,
He's doing really great.
Yeah. He sponsored an event recently, man. A big event. What was that event? Was it Miss what? Is this South African music or what? Something. He just sponsored. We don't have a fact check. Yeah, we don't have a fact check anyway.
We don't have a first lady in this podcast for sure.
We don't have so much
that's fine.
to check the fact. But he did sponsor one of the biggest events. I remember they were all wearing his jeans and everything. They were celebrities. So he's really doing. And he started from the street right there. I mean, we got a lot. Beggy from the Curiosities. He's doing very well. So it's the life in Johannesburg. And all these big.
Is it the Curiosity Backpackers? This is
that's the Curiosity. He's got a big one in Cape Town as well now. He's got a big one in Cape Town as well. And then now there is this new guy, Aya, he's doing these, what do you call these slides that you take, like these scooters.
Which ones?
In
Table Mountain?
No, he in Johannesburg.
In Johannesburg, okay.
He used these things. What these kids are using? Your kids must have
what,
this
the e-scooter?
Yeah, he does tours to the Ponte Tower with those things, man.
Okay. With the e-scooter.
It's not, but you're doing this with your leg.
All right, we'll come back to that. Michael, I wanted to jump to you regarding the what are some of your? I know that you already are selling South African. But what is your strongest point? Which of the region, which of the provinces do you sell?
Predominantly, it is Cape Town.
Cape Town.
Really, because that is what people are asking for.
Yeah.
I'll always encourage
Yeah.
if they have got time in their itinerary, or if they're leaving. Sometimes some people will come and say, I want to go here, here, and here. And then you obviously you do what they're asking.
You do as they ask, yes.
But when people are suggesting, then I will include 2 or 3 nights into Johannesburg.
Yes.
Also because you're going to be staying there anyway quite often, if you're going to be going to Kruger Park or Pilanesberg area or Sun City or go up to Madikwe, Northwest Province, then Johannesburg is your natural port of entry.
Yeah,
so
port of entry, of course.
It would be like flying to London and not staying in London
for at all.
So
it's not like you're connecting.
Yeah, and I think the younger generation now, most people don't know that it's got a bad reputation. It has in the media, and it just sticks there, like certain cities around the world have just got. But when I started in travel, New York was a no-go. You would not go to Times Square. You would not go on the underground, on the whatever the metro in whatever they call it in the US. Now, obviously, because of the geography of America and its situation in the world, and that improved and it got safer and got better, and things. But it's that perception is
to be done away with.
Something we need to do away with, which is why we're here, isn't it?
Really. And then, Pule, for you, what is the biggest backlash that you have ever came across when you're trying to convince someone to go to Johannesburg?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, for me, trying to do away with the perception that South Africa or any African country, in that matter, it's not safe. I'm always constantly dealing with an issue of safety. The safety issue is so big in a way that I ask myself, what did we actually do to find ourselves where we are? Well, we've had quite a few, obviously, incidents where tragic, like big things have happened, and things
you want to mention them, right?
Yeah, of course. I don't want to. Things that have happened to tourists that were traveling, but these were sometimes. One of them was the case where a certain, national of a certain country traveled into South Africa to orchestrate something bad to their own partner. Yeah. So that we cannot own it. We have
I remember that one.
Yeah, we have to definitely.
We
have to definitely say things are happening in our own country, but they are not necessarily to do with us. Same with crime. We are trying so hard. At the moment, I think Cape Town, they're also...
but you know what?
They're also employing people who are looking at...
Yeah.
At
just to hold you there. I want to be controversial a little bit.
Yeah.
Call me out if you can, but I want to be controversial a little bit. The itinerary that I was doing 2 weeks ago for a certain group, they were in Cape Town. The first agency, the DMC that I work with, is based in Cape Town. Yeah. Right. That DMC told them, please, you can spend everything, every time, your money and everything in Cape Town. Never set your foot in Johannesburg.
Yeah, I've heard this before when I've been in Joburg.
So it's controversial.
I've heard this from people.
I think I know what you're talking about there. I need to also remind you that within South Africa we have 9 provinces. Yeah. In those 9 provinces, we are still. It's a shame really to be dealing with things like tribalism in those 9 provinces. It's a shame to also find that organizations are still also prioritizing competition within themselves instead of prioritizing the destination. Prioritizing South Africa and the South Africans who are living in there. Because when you start to do that, you then have big numbers coming into your country. Yeah. You then have support. You then have employment created through those channels. Instead of competing within each other, what you're saying is an issue of competition. What they are doing, they want to drive traffic into Cape Town and not want tourists to go into Johannesburg and Limpopo. And that's what I think. By creating such platforms like this, we can be able to achieve a way of convincing all these other suppliers to also divert people to also go into other provinces, like Mpumalanga, for instance. Yeah. I mean, we already know they go to Mpumalanga and some part of Limpopo for Kruger National Park. But we also want them to also go and know what it's like to be in a village somewhere in Limpopo. Yeah.
But the thing is, right, when you look at South Africa's history, I mean, we cannot evade from it. South Africa is a country that has been built on racial segregation. It's a country that has been built through segregation. So there are some people who are still thriving through connoting that same message.
Sure.
You understand this? Because they will tell you Cape Town is beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I've dealt with cases again whereby you receive people from Cape Town, they're coming to Johannesburg, and then they come with a guide from Cape Town, and then there are some parts on his itinerary that he does not want to include. Like if you can taking people to Soweto, for instance.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, isn't it? To
like,
not go to
Peterson
Soweto.
memorials, Peterson memorials, and all those. Where the deep history, where it shows the brutality of the past system.
Yeah.
Some people try to evade from there.
Yeah.
They try to show only something. This is something. This is
Which
Johannesburg.
is actually not a good representation
You
of
understand?
Johannesburg,
And
is
then-
it? It's just a square.
Like I
It's like anywhere
had
in the
a
world.
review just now.
and
I had a review just now on TripAdvisor. Someone said what we were shown was the figures, the people who just were there. The guide was just glorifying the people who just made South Africa, but we were expecting to learn about the past. We were expecting to learn about the system. We did not learn anything.
Yeah.
We just went there and then it was just a glorification of leaders. It was just a glorification of certain individuals.
Just a
I
big
mean, so that's why I'm saying we need to tackle this, and people need to be aware that I know in other countries like here, people are very sensitive. There are some topics that you cannot touch. There are some topics that you can't talk about.
No, I'll tell you what it is.
You don't
It's
have any
PR.
problem, Charles. So
I'll
I
tell
don't
you what
think,
it
do
is.
you? Really? I never knew.
Look, man. In any case, you will know this for sure. In any case, PR tends to limit us in terms of like what we should talk about and what we shouldn't talk about, and it shouldn't be the case. We should have a platform where we are able to like exercise our minds and speak our minds, speak the way things are. Because right now, if you want to get the idea of how of where I come from, you need to get the whole truth from me. Without any PR, without any PR, limitations
in everything.
Yes,
in everything.
So, and we will get to that. I will tell you where I come from. I will tell you where and how I grew up.
Yeah,
and obviously, maybe that can.
For the next episode, I think it can take 10 episodes.
Yeah. Far away.
Come on, it's taken how long? It's taken that much for me to like. Give who I am today.
So that's exactly that's the main challenge. I mean, that's the main obstacle. That's why Johannesburg still receives few visitors. We have a lot of people with potential. We have a lot of.
There is so much entrepreneurialism, dynamism.
I mean, remember
that's what really struck me when I went.
Yes, 2021 when we did that event.
For the first time.
2021 when we did that event. You saw people, entrepreneurs, people were there. People wants to showcase. People wants their craft. Actually, this podcast can help such people as well to reach out to say, guys, this is what we're doing. This is our craft. We want it to be put there on a global scale. And then of course we're gonna
definitely on the next episode, like I said, as an introduction to this podcast. What we're gonna be doing next time, we're gonna have a table over here where we're gonna have like sponsors coming in, showcasing their their products, and we're gonna have some of the arts coming from South Africa as well that we're gonna be showcasing here. And I'm quite sure you know a lot of people because you were running the streets of Johannesburg.
Man,
you are a Johannesburg guru. You are
I've been in the streets. I've been in the streets.
You're from the streets, bro.
The streets made me. But so even the cape that I'm wearing, man. It's one of the entrepreneurs in Johannesburg.
Okay.
So it's sponsored. No, let me not give him free airtime. You must pay.
You must pay for that, bro.
He needs to pay for that. That's what I'm giving the side eye. Nice free. Kukari, nice free.
Yeah. That's what I'm giving the side eye. Yeah, come on.
So that's what I'm saying. So I think we need to find balance in when we tackle this and we say, all right, guys, this is what you're going to be talking. These are the destinations. We need to find balance and say, South Africa, it is equal.
Yes.
You know what struck me about South Africa? Being from Yorkshire and being a northerner, and it is true when you travel in England, the further north you go, the friendlier people are. Across South Africa, black, white, Chinese, Indian, I have found everybody, nearly everybody, a few, but really nice, talkative, friendly, interested in you. And what struck me is that everybody knows about the animals, the elephants and the rhino and the lions. We know about that, but they should emphasize the South African people,
Yeah.
how friendly they are, how nice they are,
Yeah.
and how, it's for somebody coming from the UK, from the Anglosphere, it's quite familiar. You drive on the left.
Yeah.
Bizarrely, you call the traffic lights robots.
Yeah, robots.
You must go to the first robot and then turn right, and then you go to the left.
Yeah.
And if I can,
Traffic
Oh, trust me, don't ask for directions because you're just gonna. We're gonna give you 10 right? And you're gonna think we're saying you 10 right twice.
So Pule, Pule, over to you, right?
Yeah.
Now, we saw the devastating effects of COVID and what it did to the tourism industry.
Yeah.
Now, you were with the tourism board, you were there, what do you think led, or what is, like, let's say you are now giving the advice for the future. Let's say you are now giving an advice to the tourism board to say, guys, there is another pandemic or pandemic that is going to happen, right?
You've been very controversial.
He is, man.
Look
He is.
at
And
him.
he's putting me on the spot, man. I'm like, you talking about
we weren't allowed
my
to say anything
ex-employer here, man.
controversial.
I didn't mention the name. Right. What I'm saying is that,
Yeah.
what advices and guidelines
Yeah.
will you try to give them in order for the industry of tourism to survive?
Yeah.
Because this industry, it was swept away. I mean, I know a lot of people who committed suicide.
Due to
I know a lot of people who died. I know a lot of people who lost their
RIP to
vehicles.
them, man. RIP to them.
I know a lot of people who even now they're still struggling to get back into their feet
It was
because of the
devastating.
devastating effects of the pandemic. But somewhere in other countries it was manageable.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
so like in South Africa on its own, the industry was dead. What do you think led there?
I mean, first of all, let me just say it's a global pandemic. Nothing can be done with regards to that. It's a natural disaster. It happens because I don't know whether it was a natural disaster. I'm just saying that it happened without
We will
anyone's
agree
cause.
with you.
So definitely, it did cause a lot of impact. It did cause a lot of strains for other people.
Yeah.
Like you were saying, some people even committed, suicide. I just want to say RIP to them. And condolences to the families, obviously. But I do just want to say that you have to remember that with regards to all these, structures, these organizations that are working so hard into pulling tourists into all these other regions, you have to remember that they sometimes have a mandate coming from somewhere, either the higher body, like for instance. You have in the UK, the budget comes from when they do the budget from Parliament, and to a certain organization, maybe the Department of Arts and Tourism or something like that. That money then drives what they are about, essentially as an organization. It then drives how they should operate. They can't just obviously take my advice or someone's advice without looking back into what they were sent out there to do. Yes, I can give an advice to them, but bear in mind, I'm giving an advice to probably more than 50 experts in this game. So what I can say from someone like me and having experienced it, yes, the pandemic did cause us a lot of pain. It did cause us a lot of strain as individuals. I am a product of the pandemic taking away something from me, which it did
All
take
of
my
us,
permanent
except
job.
Michael.
I mean, I wasn't permanent, but my contract ended at the same time as the pandemic hit us. And from there, I've been, I was out of the travel industry for like almost 2 years. And I recently just got back into the game now, starting to focus more on just the UK market, going into Africa. And recently joined another travel agent company that is really doing some luxury stuff.
Fantastic.
They're doing really good.
Proper luxury in South
I would have
Africa,
to just,
wow.
obviously, to mention it, I would just have to obviously get the permission whether to mention them by name or not. But they're doing some wonderful stuff. And one of their destinations also, I have to say, is South Africa. They are focusing on South Africa on the luxury stuff. Yes, obviously it includes involves going into Cape Town. But I do want to, since I'm in the company now, I do want to focus them to basically convince them to like also maybe focus on other places, other provinces as well. I don't just want to say Johannesburg, but I do want to say yes, Johannesburg, and then also try Limpopo. I'm from Limpopo, guys.
Yeah.
So I have to do that.
KwaZulu
I have to do
Natal,
as well. And Northwest as well. I don't want them to just look at Northwest and say Northwest is a desert. What are we gonna do there?
Limpopo and Northwest is to each other.
Yeah.
So I want them to do the northern part of the country.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing that needs to be done. They are doing the work, but us as the agents on the ground, we also need to do something. Michael, that goes to you as well as a travel agent. Please, when you get a chance of convincing some of your clients to do the north part before they do the coastal areas or the coastal side of South Africa. Also, maybe if you can encourage them to like go up north, see what it's like. Maybe go into the villages.
Definitely, yeah. We went to somewhere, Group Mariko, or somewhere like Group Mariko.
Group Mariko.
Northwest Province.
It's in the Northwest. Mauricio, Mariko. Some they call it Mauricio, some they call it Mariko.
I see,
So, the reason why I brought this point is because I've seen other countries, like especially, I'm in the UK and I'm in London, so I've seen how people so quite acquainted with the domestic travel.
Yeah.
You understand? Very few agencies here specializes in bringing people abroad to come here.
Yeah.
Most of the agencies that I'm working with here, they specialize in selling local trips to local people.
Yeah.
You get my point?
Yeah.
Even in the case whereby borders and airports were closed, but you still have that freedom of earning some money.
Yeah.
Someone leaving Leeds with a bus 5 a.m. in the morning coming to London.
Yeah. But I hope it's not
I'm living the dream for you, Charles. You know that, don't you?
If
You're the first thing on my mind this morning at 4:55 a.m.
Yeah.
4:55 a.m. Right? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But where are we lacking as a country? Because we might focus on always bringing tourists, but a tourist can not necessarily mean someone from another country coming to your country. You can be a tourist in your own country.
Of course. With regards to that, I let me support you on that one.
Yeah.
I've got some good news. I think the Limpopo government have now they are looking into introducing a well-functioning train, just like the How train,
right?
Which will go all the way from Johannesburg to Limpopo.
Wow,
that will definitely
be a game changer.
That's gonna be a very that's gonna be a game changer.
That seems so obvious, actually, doesn't it? Why was that done? But that is a really good idea.
That's exactly what I wanted to answer, Charles. With regards to local tourism as well, as you were asking about that, local tourism is faced with so many things where you are looking at infrastructure as the biggest hurdle. You're looking at people being closer to home. So for them, going into Johannesburg is like they're already doing it already. But if you introduce them into doing activities where they're gonna be like now to doing tourism, then that's another concept. So I think the work there needs to be done. It will be to introduce the concept of. I saw another guy who I think it's called Kegs Travel. He's doing. He's coming up with these nice ideas, man. It's just like I didn't even know there was a word called eco station or something like that. Eco vacation or something. Like he's focusing on like all everything that has to do with ecosystem. The sustainability and bringing it all together, mixing it with camping. So people would go there, do their ecosystem stuff, and bring it together with camping. So that's amazing. That's how he's basically putting the locals into traveling. It's amazing. But for me, the biggest thing is infrastructure. If they can fix the infrastructure, you won't believe, man. We do have, however, I think it's the Rovers Rail that goes from all the way. I think it even goes to Zim. I think
it goes into Botswana and
Zim, I don't know. The border was closed.
It goes to Victoria
Falls.
It does.
Oh wow, that's nice. The Rovers Rail, right?
But I do want to say
with the blue train.
It's so the opportunity for that is so shallow. Like it's so small in a way that only tourists coming from international markets get to use it. So this is where we need to now from the UK sitting here saying, guys, we've been in
There's
the UK. We are in the UK. We want you there at
There's
home
something there at home.
to use that opportunity before someone else travels 11 hours from the UK to come and experience it for you.
Sure.
Do it. It's right next to you.
Exactly.
And I'm quite sure for you as a local, it will be
very cheap.
a different price.
Sure, yeah, there is a local price.
You know what I mean?
South
Yeah.
African residents.
Yeah,
have got
so
local hotels
having
and
been
airfares.
here, can you imagine? We come to the UK, we work so hard, we save this money, we travel, we use it to go and travel South Africa.
Yeah. Crazy.
How crazy is that? So I'm saying for them back at home, take the opportunity, use it while you still can. Right now, as I'm sitting here, I'm looking at how me and my wife, we used to like go to Joburg Zoo. It was easy because we were locals. We were getting local prices.
Yeah.
And it was easy for us to go there, have an opportunity to be with the animals, spend some time, and you feed those which you can feed, and then watch those you can just watch from a distance. You know what I mean? Because they have their all protocols and policies there. Yeah. So it's like when you are here, you're looking back home and you're like, flip, I had the opportunity.
I tell you what, I'll never go into a zoo when I'm in Africa. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, I personally at that point, I remember when you have a child, an infant at that time. You can't go into a safari and all that. There's restrictions. There's age restrictions for such things. But for a zoo, you can definitely take them because they are. They are
in the stroller.
Yeah,
on the stroller.
Definitely.
And something, and then you can
so
say, this is a giraffe.
Yeah, but
yes, but it's in the cage.
Yeah, I mean, having done that, and I look at myself right in the UK, and I'm like, well, there's a couple of zoos here, but they're flipping expensive.
Yeah, this is London.
Yeah,
this is
I'd rather take that money and just travel with it.
Yeah,
you can actually book a flight ticket with that money.
100%.
Go outside and do something.
You can book 2 flights for 2. Like you can book flights.
Get
for
up
2 people.
to North Pule, you'll be fine up there. It's cheap as
yeah, definitely. So one of the things I also wanted to ask you, Michael, whilst we are on this opportunity and on this platform, is that what can we, expect from travel agents in the UK as in terms of like support for bringing the numbers in?
I think that it's going to be reliant upon businesses doing it, really. I think just because of how South Africa is, they've got more things to be doing. The government have got more pressing concerns, really, than tourism, even though tourism is really the equivalent of free money. I saw this quote that a tourism minister of, forget which country and I forget where I read it, but they said if you can get visitors, overseas visitors, it's the equivalent of free money. Yeah, there's nobody that's working and nothing. It's just money that's coming and people are spending. 100%. So well, but I do think across the whole board, it is down to corporations, philanthropists, communities, families, people that have got the means to support to do it and to bring about a new side to the tourism, because so many people will maybe do a honeymoon and go to South Africa, but a nice, lovely holiday, 2 weeks, and then, or they might do it for a 50th birthday or something, but they only go once. Yeah. And they come back and they say, we absolutely love that. We've had the time of our lives.
That's the
expectation. And I'm thinking, well, go back. Yeah. Go back. You wouldn't just go to America once or France once. Yeah. So go back and visit 100%. Again. But it's the side, it's having something to bring people to South Africa. Yeah. So, of course, there's the animals. Yeah. There's the people, which I've touched on. You've got the music, you've got the history, the literature, the food. Yeah. There is so much. It's a bit like, say, Australia would be, or Brazil, where you think of these countries and you think that they've got, there's 6-7 different things. Whereas in South Africa, it's predominantly just focused on safari or wine in Cape Town.
And that's what we're looking to do. Like we want to push that, but at the same time, we want to introduce other things. I mean, other things are already there. It's just that we want them to like be the number one things that people can also travel for.
Yeah.
So
get it known for
basically,
these other things.
I think at some point we will need to be able to devise an itinerary right here.
Yeah.
Tell the people that this is what you will see. This is your expectations, and this is how they're going to be met when you get into that aeroplane and go into Johannesburg. But I wanted also to go back and say, all right, we are over all the obstacles that have taken place and kind of like hindered the potential of the industry, right? From a travel agent's perspective, how's the future looking? Like, I'm talking specifically about South Africa. Like, when you look at your figures and stats, how do you see? Are we back where we used to be?
I think so, more or less. I think more or less in terms of the perhaps the visitor numbers are not quite as high, but the prices have gone up. Everything is now up. I'm sure you've noticed anything from 2019 to 2024 in our business, we're seeing prices have gone up average of 30% across the board. That covers like Spain, Thailand, the Maldives, Dubai, America, sort of average 30% more expensive. So the revenue is compensated with lower numbers, but more money that everybody's paying. And it's only a little bit less. It's not like 20-30% difference or something. You're only talking, I think, a couple of percent.
Do you think that is caused
difference
by the fact that people stayed a long time without traveling and the money kept on piling up?
Nobody could go out. You couldn't go for a restaurant. You couldn't go to the cinema.
I'll tell you one thing, my friend. Money. You can save as much as you want. You can never pile up. But when you're saving, you're using it. Using it at the same time.
Well, you two are living in the south of England. I don't know what you're doing, but anyway, hello, south of England. I love you.
Because what we can say that if the numbers are going back and if the numbers are becoming good, then obviously we need to come up with also new creatives and new ideas. It cannot always be, same thing all over again.
Yeah, there is a lot of
potential.
That's
why we came with the concept of like defining arts and tourism. Like, there is a project that Michael started whereby he invites people, conferences. Like, people are going to Johannesburg for conferences. But then in that itinerary, he finds them a conference venue. And then after finding them a conference venue, in that itinerary, then he mixes with a little bit of art where you can now, in that conference, you can find entertainment, fashion, you can find music, you can find food shows, you can find... So, those are kind of the...
So, Michael, essentially, you are the South African taxpayer. You are... You're contributing to it.
Yes.
But I mean, if he's buying art, then if that art is then, if they're taking VAT for that art, but I don't suppose they would because they don't live in that country.
I think what struck me, I went once to the Indaba in Durban, the Travel Indaba, and we all had a voucher to spend with the local artists and entrepreneurs that had got like a marketplace area in between the breakout areas. And that struck me as being a very good idea. So what we look to do, because you have a group, say, of I don't know, some scientists or something, some medical people, and they're going to be in town anyway. They are there. So how do we get some income from them? Not really increasing their prices, but how do we move that income from the multinational companies to local businesses, small medium enterprises? And one thing with the voucher system is one way of doing it. So we've already included 500 rands in the price.
I think that would definitely make sense
in a voucher to use.
That would definitely make sense in a conference setting. But what I've also realized, I've realized when I was when we were doing our hostings in Johannesburg, I feel like I understand that people we were hosting, they were obviously brought there to just come and explore the country. But at the same time, when you are walking around beautiful art, you can see someone loving it, but I just feel like they just take them for when they see street, homeless people. But there's a difference between a homeless people and someone who's actually putting their hard work, their work and someone who's just begging for money. Those people who are selling art are not begging for money; they are showcasing their art. The same way you would find the same art in a studio in London, and you spend so much money to buy that art, and here's someone who with authentic a creativity, creating something so beautiful that you find on the street, but you just look at it like this. And not
strange, isn't it? It's just the setting, perhaps, isn't it? If it was all well lit and on a display stand, you would look at it like the other art, wouldn't you? I think in the galleries.
I say this because I was with a lady who has a studio here in London, and you go to her studio, you realize that, okay, so this is exactly what I saw in the streets, like
in
back
Africa,
at home.
Yeah.
So you found a way to market it, to put it in the beautiful walls, like you're saying, with the lights and everything. Like and this, you are like you're making it exactly
like this,
and you're making it more expensive. Kudos for you, you've managed to do that. But those ones who are on the streets, I would encourage all the tourists traveling to South Africa to say, let's get back into the culture of making sure that we also support local business people who are selling art on the streets.
Yeah.
Let's not take them as...
That is so important.
Yes,
that is
let's not take them
as
as homeless people who are begging for money, because they are doing something very different. They are out there for you guys. They are out there for themselves as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we want to also make sure that we contribute into the into the what they are doing and the employment.
That's the whole point of all of our tours is to do exactly that. It's obviously to give people a good product and something to experience.
For you guys as travel agencies, I mean, this is where you have to come in, because there are some places now, especially I'll always be talking about in Cape Town. Of course, we do have those places as well where they, like in Johannesburg, the whole idea of the Maboneng Street, the concept there is to rejuvenate and bring the artists, put them there, let them showcase their skills and their talent to the people.
Well, there was I was shocked in Joburg. The premises it's closed now, hasn't it?
Because
that was such a good idea. That guy who took people.
What do you call this one on opposite Pata Pata? But it's open now.
Is it reopened again?
Yeah, it's open now.
Okay.
Yeah. So that those old buildings are now being rejuvenated. They're converted into small studios. They're converted into art craft centers. I mean, we used to have neighborhood goods market, remember?
Yeah.
That was a very good initiative.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a very good initiative whereby you
don't
have your skill.
It closed.
In Bramfontein, there's something else there. There's something happening on a Saturday, but it's completely
different.
All the bars like Kitcheners and the Great Dane.
That was a winner, man. All of my hostings included going into the neighborhood.
You understand? So such initiatives, like they enhance, they help the local artists. There is one issue that also used to happen in Santin every last month end of every last day of the month in Santin, where they invite craft makers. They put them there along Nelson Mandela Square, and then people just wander around and they just buy. It's same concept is happening. Same concept is happening in Rosebank, the craft market in Rosebank. You understand?
There's some nice places in Johannesburg. There is so many nights to go. You can easily 2 or 3 days, and you know.
Not that I'm disagreeing with the fact of buying from the street, but when a perception has been created about a country or a city being unsafe, no one will ever feel comfortable to take out their money
on the streets.
So rather, it's up to you. The work is for us as travel agents to say, guys,
Jamaica suffered with this image problem in the UK maybe 15, 20 years ago, and they have resolved it now. It's very much
the problem.
How did they?
No, it's just the just perception and the marketing, and also I think some work locally with people and with communities, and it's the kind of tourism that you're getting. If there's a bit of people get a bit cheesed off with the big all-inclusiveness there sometimes, and nobody ever leaves and spends any money, and it's all going off to wherever the bank account might be based.
100%.
But if you've got interaction with the local communities and things, and I think Jamaica's done a lot of this, like homestays, and getting out and about, getting out of the main tourist areas such as Montego Bay or Negril or Ocherius, the other areas. It's stunning, it's beautiful, and it's safe.
Amazing.
It's the same as South Africa. I go walk around the street at 11, 12 o'clock at night.
In Bramfontein.
In Bramfontein.
Just to mention that.
I'm still here, anyway. They haven't got me yet.
I consider you as a local, so like I said, you already giving so much to South Africa.
And you meet him shirtless, 11 at night, he's walking down the streets.
Oh, I'm not bothered.
Amazing.
a club. You know, Braamfontein is one of the places where you have a club.
It's quite. It's where people send their kids to school, though. It's all colleges.
Yeah,
colleges.
So,
it's not. You know, I think if you're looking for trouble, you can find it. You know, but otherwise, it's good. It's a safe place, I think.
I wanted to ask you about the getting around. Obviously, I mentioned one of the issues being infrastructure, but I wanted to speak about if you do sometimes happen to do like hood sprayed. You know, like when you get to Johannesburg or Tambo, you have to take
flights
either
up to Nelspruit or Hoodspruit.
You have to do it via Airlink or what was it? That
Sapphire, I think,
and
a couple of Chimera or Samera or whatever.
How do you find that connecting? Like how the inbound flights? How do you find them? Like, because I've heard some developments are coming up as well. To that.
Well, a lot of the flights tend to arrive in the morning from Europe, coming in from London and Paris and Frankfurt and places. So there will normally be a 3 or 4 hour connecting time, and then there's a flight perhaps around 12 or 1 o'clock or something. So often people will wait in a lounge. You can pay to go into one of the lounges in the airport, like a big vest lounge perhaps or something like that. And just wait for the transit in between. But there's not that many flights. I mean, I think you don't want too many in a way. You know, you don't want to ruin places by having too many people going in.
Of course.
But that can be one of the more costly parts of the trip. You know, the flights up to Kruger. And of course, then all of the safaris charge a lot because why wouldn't they? You know, we don't have to walk maybe half a mile here and somewhere's charging £700 a night for a rubbish hotel in a tiny room. But it's London. So why on earth would it not be £2,000 a night in Kruger? It's got to be. Because you've got all your food included, all your drinks, you have a chauffeur. Imagine if you were staying in London in a big, massive room. All inclusive, all your drinks included, all your food. How much would that cost you here? It cost you £5,000 a night or something crazy, you know, for that size and location.
Will it be wrong for me to say that service providers, like especially in South Africa, they need to maybe getting back to the point that we discussed about domestic travel, how to elevate and enhance domestic travel. Will it be wrong to say that service providers, especially the lodges, the hotels, and other entertainment areas, will they be wrong to have two different price categories to say this one is for locals and this one's for international?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I remember years ago I was in Egypt and I was a bit annoyed because there's a tourist price and I'm thinking, what's this?
You couldn't hide that you're a tourist,
right? 50 pence more for my can of Coca-Cola.
And you couldn't hide that you're a tourist. I mean,
but it's right. It is right. I totally get it why they do it. It's like South African residents have a discount on hotels, but let's be basic. People in South Africa don't earn as much.
That's what lacks in South Africa. That's what lacks. I think it only happens in places like Kruger National Park. Of course, Kruger National Park.
I was about to get to that as well.
Find out if not your
typical
they'll do with South African residents, and the airlines are doing a discount.
No,
the airlines don't.
They can give you a discount, but not to do with the fact that you are local.
Oh, I see.
You understand? I think that's a very important.
Only when you get into like sites like Kruger, you will find there's a guy who was working with me in the previous organization. He also started doing like your camping stuff, like where they do tents. There they definitely have prices for locals and they have prices for international tourists coming
in. It's only right because the incomes are different.
I think it would also be well for the suppliers based back at home, like your hotels, to also start doing that, do something like that.
Conforming to that.
I mean,
people have got to feel part of the community. The local community has got to feel that this is part of these tourism places that other people are visiting.
I remember
they
for
need to be able
me,
to visit.
as a tour operator based down there, when I was quoting locals, I will quote them the same price that I give to the international. Then they're like, no, that's too expensive. Exactly. But not forgetting that the same price that I pay, whether you're an international or a local, is the same price that I will pay when we get to the destination, to the venue.
Exactly.
So I think somewhere
there does need to be some coordination there.
There
I
needs
think
to be some coordination whereby to say that will definitely enhance domestic travel.
And it will increase the revenues.
100%.
Revenues.
This is why you end up having an issue where you, well, it's not an issue, it's another way of exploring the country. You end up having locals moving into like using Airbnbs.
Yeah.
And some of these apartments that are like just private. They are not star rated or anything. They're just starting up maybe to offer accommodation and stuff.
Yeah.
I've had a couple of my family relatives who went down to Mozambique and they had a lovely trip. But guess what? They didn't stay in any of their hotels. They stayed in one of these Airbnb establishments, which are offering good rates. Because why? They're moving away from having to like pay massive amounts of
they don't have a big water bill. They're not paying any staff. They're not paying a huge. They're not.
You're like, I'm not flying from Japan for me to come and spend this amount of money. I'm just coming as a local. Take me as a local. We're sitting here. We are in the UK advocating for locals. How insane is that? They should be seeing it already.
They should be seeing it already. That side. Because
trust me. Because the one sorry to cut you there. The one thing that would really market the country well is when international tourists see how well these people are enjoying in their country, how well they're doing in that country. That is the best marketing tool you can ever use. You know what I mean? You can't expect to put on a lot of budget and money into some ads and everything, but when they look deep down into you, they're like, but you're saying it's expensive yourself. Yes, but you're not traveling in locally yourself. They want to look at you and see how well you're doing. When you go to Turkey, I think you were in Turkey in May. In May. And you wake up with all those hot air balloons, flying all over the thing in the morning. The locals are already doing the marketing for that country already.
Sure.
Regardless of what is happening now with the global, wars and everything, they are marketing the country already. So before you can look at Turkey rejecting or restricting some flights, coming through their country just because they are in support of whatsoever, or maybe they are not in support of something that is being taken globally, like with the war and stuff, they still look at their tourism. They still benefit so well with their tourism, project. Like they're doing well tourism wise. That's what I'm trying to say.
Close the borders in South Africa. All the DMCs are dead. All the hotels are closed.
So DMC is like a destination management company.
Yes, they're dead.
Because we have an interview, didn't we? I interviewed Francis from a DMC.
Oh yes, I was about to ask you about that.
So this could be a good point to link that in. I don't know.
On another note, I wanted to ask you, how did you manage to pull so many guys into the interviews? Because I felt like you asked. How many people were there?
That's my talent. His name is Mike.
That's my talent.
Oh my days, man! Yeah, we need to find a way in which we can relay that message of what they were trying to say, and also
DMCs, right?
If you can also just tell us a little bit more about the guys and what they were actually trying to say. Basically.
So this is one of our partners that we use in our business. They're called Into Africa, and it's a DMC, as Charles was referring to. So a destination management company, which is a company which will look after all of the ground arrangements, so hotels, airport transfers, city tours, excursions, dinners, everything apart from the flight that gets you into the country. And they're the single point of contact. So they are sometimes a little bit less than if you did it yourself, but you're getting the value. The value of that one point of contact. And everything is on one.
Well, I'm quite sure you wouldn't want them to do it themselves, isn't it?
I don't mind. If people want to pay me. If you don't want to pay me.
Definitely.
It's cool. I'm very relaxed.
Charles sitting here as a tour operator, entrepreneur, he would definitely say he also wants that business to himself as well.
Exactly.
So definitely, they should check on my wrong tours as well. They do the same.
Definitely.
You do the same?
I do the same.
I wanted to ask you, Charles, and with that regarding this, it's now that Michael has now introduced the issue of DMCs and local tour operators and stuff. With your company, Maibonge Tours, I've seen a couple of times you've had the North American clients, and you've had the UK clients. I wanted to find out, what are the demographics in your company? What are the, not that it matters, but I wanted to find out who are your biggest supporters?
My biggest supporters, I would just say, is people from outside. But the biggest market will be North America.
North America.
That is the biggest market. The people from UK, yeah, but the only challenge with the people of the UK market is that they still have that kind of like a perception about Johannesburg. You understand? They want to come. The last trip that I did, the 15 days trip, it was the Lions. You know, the Lions rugby from the UK.
Oh yes.
The itinerary for 15 days. They never spent a single night in Johannesburg for 15 days. But they never spent.
Where was their accommodation booked?
When they landed, the moment we met at the airport, we drove straight to Mpumalanga. The same day they arrived, we drove straight to Mpumalanga. We did the Kruger National Park, the panorama route to the what is that? Is it that recreational centers? What is it called? Somewhere there in Hoedspread, that animal rehabilitation center.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yes, we did this. We spent there 3 days, and then the 4th day, I was thinking maybe we're gonna go back to Joburg. No, we continued straight to Swaziland.
Yeah.
We went to Swaziland, spent some time in
Swaziland as well.
Yeah, spent some time in Swaziland.
Yeah.
And then from Swaziland, went through Pongola, straight into St. Lucia. From St. Lucia, we went into Durban. Into the city. From Durban.
Is that where the hippo is by the swimming pool?
St. Lucia, yes.
In St. Lucia, there's a hotel, isn't it? Is it Hazy View Hotel or something?
There's a lot of hippos there.
You're just laying by the pool, Pule.
Even in your hotel.
And there's a hippo.
Yeah.
That would, I thought they killed
kidding
it,
me?
don't they? They're the most dangerous of all the animals, aren't they?
No, it's a Lucia.
We do get an opportunity to see the hippos in Sanin, in my town. That's where I'm from.
Yeah.
But we only see them at night. When they come at night, you know, like they're like wandering around having
and
like
massive.
meeting and stuff.
Like they're massive.
But not in the pool.
Not in the pool. Oh no, I don't. Maybe.
Maybe. They get
this
together
is where somebody might contact us and say, "Hey, I've seen that hippo in that pool." So
they have like a video where they're taking the.
No, they just wander around. I think it lives near the hotel and it's been there forever.
You know, St. Lucia, it's a small island, right?
Yeah.
So it's like when the sea is this side, and then there's just a small river that divided the sea, and that island.
We're talking about in KwaZulu Natal, aren't we? Because there's a St. Lucia, obviously, in the Caribbean. So there's got the St. Lucia in the Caribbean.
Yeah, we're talking about the one in South Africa.
I was surprised. St. Lucia in South Africa, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, we're talking about the one in South Africa, right?
Oh,
yeah, the one with the hippo.
Okay, so I was thinking Caribbean.
In this part,
we just moved across. We're going everywhere.
In this part, this is where you have the Umfolozi. That's national park.
Shishlui in it.
Yes, so Lukui. There, and then all the resort there is water and everything. So there's a lot of hippos. You can there's warnings everywhere. Please mind the hippos.
Yeah.
I remember the other night when we were going for dinner, boom, a big hippo like this. Just waiting there for us.
So what are the measures that they have besides the fact that they also advise you to mind the hippos? Has there been any cases where hippos
when I was there,
maybe...
I asked this other guy. I asked him if there's any. He told me that since he had been there for 15 years. The guy who lodged us. He's been there for 15 years. He has never had an incident where a hippo
only 12 people killed.
Yeah,
that's all right.
So
I love how when they report incidents, they say only or at least at least one person died, and I'm like, at least.
So he just said at least. So and then from there we went to Durban. From Durban we drove straight to Cape Town. That's when they wrapped up the tour, and then from there they flew to Botswana, Zimbabwe, no Johannesburg for 15 days. So that's what I'm saying. I think we have a lot of work to do.
Missing a trip because there is the infrastructure in Johannesburg. There is the 100%. Restaurants and the nightlife and there's the transport facilities around. There's the safety. There's the hotel rooms. And you're within a few hours of getting out into the countryside. It doesn't need to be safari. It could just be a yoga retreat or just somewhere in the countryside near a really nice lake. And go out on the boats.
They've got the best spot in somewhere in Limpopo. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna keep advocating. I'm gonna keep advocating for Limpopo.
This is nepotism.
This is nepotism. It's not. That's benefiting from this every time. Limpopo.
It's benefiting.
I'm gonna benefit myself, of course, and my people in Limpopo. Shout out to my people in Limpopo. What I want to say is So in support to what you're saying, we definitely have different, tourist attractions in every province of South Africa.
Yeah.
And those attractions needs some work in order for them to be experienced.
Yeah.
We have a whole lot of, I think there's like the Bapedi Cultural Village.
In Limpopo, right?
Yes. Right, in Limpopo. Again, in Limpopo.
No, where
yes.
else?
I mean, you can find them anywhere. The cultural villages are everywhere. People always ask me, where are you from? North of the country.
Mm-hmm.
The least I can tell them is north of the country, north of South Africa. And what I mean by that is the fact I'm trying to make them understand that I'm from the northeast, if you want to put it right, northeast of the country. Yeah. What I'm trying to do is make them understand which part of South Africa I'm from, because if I say Limpopo, to them it's still news. But I'm doing so much work in trying to educate them about South Africa. And one of the things that I also do is I also teach them a lot more about culture. The different cultures that we have, because we are called the Rainbow Nation for a reason. Mm-hmm. We have different kinds of cultures. We don't just have just one. We don't have just like English. We speak it as like the most common way of communicating. Yeah. But we have other cultures. But we do have the English culture, because obviously we were colonized at some point by Britain. So
just be comfortable. He's not going to do
it's okay.
Much.
I've got my country back. It's you fighting for your country back now.
It's as much my fault as it is yours.
I mean, keep playing game. That's how you play game.
Wasn't me.
You always blame someone.
It might have even been you in the previous life. Who knows? Yeah.
So my point was that I find myself doing a lot of educationals to different nationals. I've got Lithuanian friends. I've got Russian friends. I've got people from what is this? Uzbekistan.
Uzbekistan, yeah.
The Kazakhstan, all those places.
Kazakhstan. I never seen there's a country called Kazakhstan. Yeah.
So all of those, you then get into a place where you need to teach them about where you're from, what language you speak, what culture is that, because all of them, they just seem to know one, which would make Charles happy because it's Zulu. So I get to a point where I get to now teach them that it's not just that one. Yes, we are happy to have it as a part of the languages, one of the languages in South Africa, but we speak many. By many, I don't mean more than 30. I just mean this much. And by this much, I mean that they are situated in these geographical areas. And if you want to explore them much better, let me put up an itinerary for you. Let me fly you down to South Africa. I can even volunteer myself to take myself with you, to go and show you these places. This is a group of friends I'm talking to.
Sure.
Yeah. Where you put them, you sit them down, you can't sit them down, but you just educate them a little bit about where you're from, because you find that a lot of them, they just don't know if South Africa it's actually a country on its own.
It's just
shout out to the new genre, the Amapiano genre. Is doing a lot of work in terms of giving South Africa the popularity it deserves.
Well, if you listen to the radio in English, Afro beat, Afro house is huge and has been for 10 years now in the UK. It's massive, is the music.
Amazing, and I've seen a lot of they're doing a lot of events as well in Mayfair as well at night from Thursday to Sunday.
Moonchild Sanally. Is on the radio all the time. And Monique Bingham. Hello, Monique Bingham. I hope to meet you one day.
Oh, can I show you a picture with it?
Okay.
I see what you did there, Michael.
So we need black coffee and Monique Bingham.
Amazing. You know what I want?
They're becoming to be interviewed, can't they? Should be coming to England, surely.
Yeah. Monique. Hopefully we can.
I met Monique. We had an event that we were doing the first Soweto Wine Festival. She was there. She was performing there. So I just.
So wine festival.
Yep.
Right. Well, we need to go to that.
Speaking of wine, bro. Speaking of wine, bro. I wanted to jump into something.
Yeah.
It would be nice if next time into coming to this platform, we can have some wine next to us.
You promised me alcohol.
You know
o'clock this
We
morning.
were supposed to.
PR jumped in.
But I mean,
I will definitely get you some. PR jumped in.
But the problem is whose wine?
That's what we're getting to. That's where we're getting to.
Pinotage.
Who's Pinotage?
Not free air, obviously. What I'm
can't
saying is
we
we
for free here.
for
We're paying here.
for the next
You want 3
episode.
nights in Italy? Come on, get some wine.
For the next
yes, I
episode,
want to do
it'll be nice to basically jump into a space where we can have sponsors showcasing their stuff. I'm calling out to you, Wines of South Africa. If you can bring us a case, we would really appreciate that.
That's a good idea. That's a very
We
good
would really
idea.
appreciate that.
Yeah,
I'm talking to you,
well.
Limpopo Biltong. I'm talking to you. We would
Limpopo,
be
okay.
really
You
helpful.
hear that name?
Yeah.
Limpopo,
Okay.
oh,
yeah.
It's a business built
They're
on.
here in the UK. They're big, man. Have you noticed them?
What
No,
built on?
I only know
Limpopo
South Africa.
Biltong.
I
They're
know
a brand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they are
I
a
know
brand.
Best Biltong. The Best Biltong. Like South
Can I
African
be
shops.
controversial?
Yeah.
I really don't
Yeah.
like biltong.
You don't.
No.
You're not from South Africa.
I'm not from South Africa, no.
No. But I've had like
Trust me.
a lot of friends
People from
coming
here.
from other
who
countries
come from Biltong.
buying biltong.
Well, yeah, it's nice. It's like a really upmarket pepperami, isn't it? Basically. But, I don't like the concept of
Okay,
just...
what
Well, you know
What do you like? What do you like in
It's
South
fine.
Africa?
Pinotage.
You want to buy Pinotage?
No, buy him tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
Buy him Rooibos. He'll be fine.
Nah, there is a...
Oh, the tea.
You know
I've had the
something?
tea. I used to count with it and like you get somebody to come and authorise it for you.
Yeah.
Say,
I mean,
are you old
the
enough?
other day they said I can't. I didn't have my ID with me.
yeah.
Then they said I'm like, come
Dream
I'm
on.
old.
Dream on.
I ended even narrating them the events that took place during apartheid.
Yeah, so many things, man. You need to still prove your age here.
I ended up narrating.
I mean, did you bring your ID today?
I ended up narrating, guys, I was there during apartheid. This is what happened. Nah.
This is what happens, Michael. Everywhere I go, I need to prove that, you know what. And he's my brother, by the way.
Yeah,
I'm old.
Yeah, but you can't tell. But
you can't
I'm the
tell.
one who looks more, you know.
He looks older, but I'm the one who's old. Like, I'm very old.
You look older, I would say. I think.
It's
yeah.
a compliment.
Yeah.
I look older, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, is that a compliment or?
Yeah. I don't think it's.
Because I'd be happy looking young.
No wine, no compliment.
No wine, no compliment.
Definitely, and not just wine. I mean, we also
So we need
it would be
Teppo's
nice.
jeans, don't we? We need.
Teppo's.
What else do we need?
It would be nice also if we can shoot
Music.
we can shoot this
Music.
I mean, we can end.
We know some
We can
DJs as
end
well,
an
don't we?
episode by playing someone's music. We put you out there. You
Yeah.
understand?
Yeah.
We play your music. We play your track. We play free airtime. We give you free
Yeah.
airtime.
Yeah.
You were just talking about how my piano has been put
Yeah,
in South Africa on the
100%.
map.
I'll tell you another thing. I'll jump
Yeah.
into this. I with my other company, I have started an initiative where I am now reaching out to local guys who are doing music back at home.
Yeah.
I've got this guy who's doing his music is internationally recognized.
Nice.
They're playing it in Italy, they're playing it in Spain, they're playing it in France.
Yeah.
Bring him here for the interview.
We'll get him.
Well, he's in
yeah.
South Africa, so
We will cross live.
yeah,
We'll cross live.
so shout out to him. His name
Yeah.
is Dinuku. He's really playing Afro house music.
Yeah.
And he's going about playing the same genre that your Black Coffee are playing. And he's just a small boy from the village.
Which village?
But the music is
Which
making.
village?
I'll get to that. The music is making is
Limpopo.
really top notch.
Yeah. Is he from Limpopo?
Definitely.
Oh, okay.
I mean, you know what?
No, don't go
No,
into
I'm
that.
kidding.
I've got a lot of guys from KZN. Come on, guys. I've got this guy who's also playing Tom. I've signed his son. Yeah, he's just signed up with. I can't say it, man. I'm begging.
QOM.
Can't say it, man. I'm begging.
Tom music.
Yeah,
I mean, Michael is doing
I
better
never
than you.
knew.
No, I'm
You
begging, man. I'm
know,
begging. You know that. I can't do
You
it.
know the English guy Damon Albarn who's from Blur and Gorillaz. You know Gorillaz, and then he's got a band called Africa Express.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I bought an album and it's got like Moonchild Sonelli on it.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh,
got
yeah.
and there's one song. It's called The Return of Bacardi.
Oh, nice.
So
Bacardi, bro. Do you know Bacardi?
I knew
What
about
it is?
Bacardi is a type of house music from
Pretoria. Found in
It's from
Pretoria.
Which I never knew. I just thought it was a.
That's the kind of music that put Tyler where she is today. That's what really made her. Even the dance that she's incorporating in her music.
Yeah.
That's what made.
Bacardi.
That's Bacardi.
Yeah, Bacardi music. You see.
Yeah, you
see. There's so many layers to South Africa that people are not.
Besides, in this podcast,
grasping.
One of the things, sorry to cut you off, one of the things in this podcast, that we need to focus on is not just travel, like you were saying in the car when we were on our way here, it's basically to focus on all elements of South Africa. The things that are selling, music without focusing on the attractions. They will see the attractions after. If they leave the UK knowing that I'm going to a
South
concert,
Africa and make an album.
Yes.
You know, if some people have always wanted to do something, you could go and record an album in South Africa
100%.
and do it
That's
there.
100%.
That's exactly what the concept, that's the same concept that Michael came up with to say, all right, we had an event, he invited few DJs, few artists and a few people to showcase their stuff, which is very good. I mean, if you hold such an event for people, for internationals, the word will be, guys, if you want to see this, go down there yourself. That's tourism on its own.
100%.
That's tourism.
And that's where we get in. That's where you and I get in and call him to host them because he's ground operations. That's where me and you we put together an itinerary for these people saying, oh, you want to go down to Johannesburg and put
this is what
work on an album, right? Whilst you are in Johannesburg, this is what I have for you. And we do like a lookbook of how things should look, or an itinerary, give it to them and say, look, this is how your time in South Africa whilst you're recording is gonna be. And that person will love it, man. I'm going there to do amapiano, I'm going there to do Afro House, I'm going there to do this and that. It's an itinerary.
We've got contacts of people, haven't we? You know, like Camblish Media. This episode is partially sponsored by Camblish Media. So there you go.
We want to see the returns. We want to bring something here. We want to see the return on investment. So would love to see that, man.
So it's a spectrum. Tourism on its own. It's not all about taking 100%. Tourists and then go there. No. We've got people who travel for business, people travel for medical, people travel for
medical reasons.
There's a lot that you can use to attract people to travel.
100%. 100%.
So that's where we need to focus. We switch the focus. We need to negate from these old ways of just booking a visa, go visit, stay in a hotel.
100%.
We need to try to find new
to support what you're saying, Charles.
Yeah.
There's I've seen quite a big trend. People traveling to South Africa. You know, we have got one of the beautiful mountains there. You know, the landscapes and everything's just beautiful. Down in Mmola, they have the God's Windows.
The God's Window, the Clyde River, Kenya.
Yeah. All those mountains. People are traveling there just for people who are going through mental health issues. Just to ease their mind and be at a peaceful at a peaceful place. They just go to the mountain and they pick and choose places like the God's Window. To just go there, be up there, just calm down, calm your senses down a little bit, because being in this busy UK environment, it just puts you in one place. But for them traveling there and coming back, having seen what they've seen and having been in that place,
like a detox, isn't it?
Having seen the South African people with the big smiles on their face, they come back revived.
Talking about that, there is someone, I forgot, there is someone who's doing such thing whereby it's the healing, he's got a different name about it. There is someone I worked with, they're doing such itineraries whereby they attract those people. If you want to come, they do even yogas and all those just 100%. Yourself, your well-being. It's like, I forgot their name. 100%. But I wouldn't give you, even if I remember, I wouldn't give them free airtime. But trust me,
we're not about that business in this podcast, no.
I remember there's someone who does those, where your well-being, just to focus on your well-being, where you go. It's so refreshing. It's so your spiritual enhancement.
This is a massive type of travel now. Wellness.
Wellness
thing has grown and grown.
I'm currently working on an itinerary where someone wants to go to one of the islands in Mexico, beautiful islands. And I think I have put together what a quote in the itinerary. You know what I said? I said, wherever you go with your heart. essentially to say, you know, man, when you get to these destinations, the only thing you have there is you, yourself, your peace and your heart. Enjoy. Just get there, enjoy.
Yeah.
Because when you go back, man, it's gonna be different, but you come back a different person. You know what I mean? From the fact that you've been to that place, you went there with your heart, and if your heart, but just be careful. Don't leave your heart there.
Yeah, this is the problem, isn't it?
Come back with it, because you will now migrate
to my every time he goes to Joburg, his heart is left there. Not only his heart, even his laptops.
My laptop, my mobile phone. It happens.
100%. So, Michael, what are some of the things that I haven't asked you that you feel you wanted to also
when we were talking before about seeing, you know, artists who are selling their products and things.
Yes.
Yeah.
One thing always I say to my clients, take cash with you. Take local currency cash out with you on every trip that you go on, all the time.
Yeah.
Because not everybody takes a credit card or a debit card, you know, and
100%.
Cash is king in a lot of places.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it can make a big difference to a lot of people.
100%.
If you know, if maybe one in five people bought something from a local artist or salesperson. Take cash out with you.
Excuse me a sec.
I mean, like in the Western world, this side, I mean, there is a lot of places where now they're no longer taking cash. I mean, but in South Africa, of course, they are
the UK has become very much like this. UK and South Korea apparently.
One of the
massive,
things, you know,
I
read a certain article about the Olympics in France now. Why it's so quiet? There's no one there because they introduced this cashless kind of like thing. So a lot of people just didn't want to go there because of that. Because most of the places there.
I've heard one French. I don't know the name properly. It might be Bordeaux. I think it's Bordeaux. But you can't spend cash, and you have to get a debit card or something, or sign up to some kind of payment system. It was.
I saw it. All you can't spend cash.
You can't spend cash. No. I've been to other events where it's all cashless as well, which is BOLLOCK. We can maybe edit that bit out. Yeah.
Because the thing is, right? So this guy, he was like he owns a coffee shop, something there in Paris. So he was complaining about because they were expecting that tourists are going to be flocking into because of the Olympics and everything.
Yeah.
But he was like, nah, it's not like that. I mean, this cashless society thing is kind of like hindered the potential of like what they were expecting. It's actually quiet. There's no one in the street.
Yeah. It is advantageous. So we're talking about cash here. Yeah. Like when I was in Turkey, I noticed. I've been lucky to travel with my job, you know, but I was there a few years ago and I've realised if I bought my currency in Istanbul or in Alanya, there's still loads of the Bureau de Change because there's all the different currencies, you know, it's so... on the last one, for example, I would have got 35 to 36 Turkish lira to my pound by buying online. From a couple of different companies. I checked. I won't quote anybody, but you know the well-known ways of getting currency here. When I went to Istanbul, you just take English pound notes with you, or Scottish pound notes,
or whatever the currency you use.
Take your hard cash currency. I got 40.85, and I would have got say 36. So what we're looking 10, 12, up to 15% sometimes on some currencies. So. If you're going to Turkey, I would say take cash.
So
with
essentially,
you. It's not ideal from a security point of view to take. You know, but hedge your bets a little bit because if you're spending £500, that's another £50. That's you know goes a long way in Turkey.
Makes a huge difference, definitely. Yeah.
And the same thing.
I never was a fan of counting cents, but until I came to the UK, I realized the importance of it.
Oh yeah, you gotta,
100%. So
I still can't.
I absolutely support your.
But I noticed on the way back when I came back from Cape Town last month that there was about 5% better if I'd have been changing my pound notes in the bureau in the airport.
In the airport.
Okay.
So now I don't know how many more places around. I've never really seen places for changing money. It just shows how much we're paying for our currency. You know, when we're changing our euros. I used to sell currency and we charge 1.5%. They're now charging 10%. So the people who are making the most money is on people changing from euros to pounds and pounds to euros. It's hidden now. There's no competition anymore. You know,
there's some people who are doing that like for a living, just to buy and selling currency.
It's a. I mean, in support of what you were saying, I think the airport has always been one of the good rate offers. Like they offer the good rate in terms of like exchanging money, because I remember when I did my travel to New York, I came back with a lot of dollars and I changed them there to a point where it attracted the local police wandering around, because they gave it to me in an envelope, bro. And
where's that money, Pule?
the local policemen, they came to me, but I felt like it was kind of a weird situation. Luckily enough, I was with my 2 cousins, and we were driving a car. But what I did immediately, I was like, you know what, I'm not taking any chances. To put in a level of extra, safety, I immediately just went to the bank and deposited the money there. I said, I'm not taking any chances, because you never know, you know. So just to support what you were saying, it's best to like maybe just take cash and change it there. But in terms of safety, do remember that whilst we are encouraging you to maybe consider changing your money in one of the currency exchange based in that destination, remember that there's an element of safety.
Sure.
Everywhere, I mean, everywhere. It's not only about South Africa.
Although I totally take what you're saying there, but equally, if you get your card taken, and somebody is all straight away, this tap, 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 tap. There's no more PIN number.
You know what I mean?
There's the pros and cons, but I think one thing that worked for me in Turkey was that you could keep going repeatedly. So I'd take a few £100 with me spending money and just change a bit, you know, and there was no minimum that you could change. So like one day maybe change £50. Another day, I mean, I drink double gin and tonic, so it costs a lot.
Did you bring any now?
Turkey.
I'd love to sip on it right now.
Shocking.
And, you know, for me, when I went to South Africa last month, I never went with any cash.
You didn't use cash?
No, I didn't use any cash at all. I was using my card.
Yeah.
When you went home?
Yeah.
Do you still have a South African bank account?
Yeah, I still have.
Okay, so you can
pretty much easier because you don't get tax.
You're not paying the charges as well.
I don't pay much charges, but it was very much easier because most of the places, like I'm saying, they are getting acquainted to this no cash. No sharing. So,
it's just I personally don't agree, but anyway,
cash is
right.
key, man. Cash is key.
I watched an interview with the boss of Travelex, you know, the foreign exchange company, and he said if you looked at like some of the Indian rupee conversion against the Chinese currency, or there is massive amounts of cash still being spent in most of the world. And it when the computers don't work, when they whatever this thing happened the other day with the banking system and payment system, cash always works, doesn't it?
Cash is always key, man.
And a little bit analog. 100%. That's all
I think I'm this old school person who always wants to have some cash in my wallet.
I mean,
I feel like it's a good card. I feel like I don't have money. I mean,
it's a good way of saving if you want to use it in that sense. But for me, it works both ways. If I am running low on cash, or if I feel like I want to manage my cash, I would rather use cash. Because
you
tapping,
can see what you've got there, can't you? There,
tapping, sometimes you lose track of what you've been tapping on.
Then
the next thing you open up your bank account or your your banking app, you realize, I'm like 800 quid down. Like I'm like 800.
Where did that go?
Yeah, like how did I spend that? You realize, 80
welcome
pounds on food.
Welcome to England.
80 pounds on food.
I'm still on the
like this and that.
You're already on Queen.
Yeah. Welcome to England, mate. Welcome to England, mate.
Hi up, mate.
Yeah.
Alright. So what? Looking forward to the podcast because this is our first ever podcast. So we will collaborate with a lot of people on the ground. We will collaborate with a lot of people who want to showcase whatever they want to do.
Yeah.
We will collaborate with Michael to come here and advertise his itineraries. I mean, it's not like...
and give free air to some of this.
I mean, every organization is going to do like a charity work. Amazing.
Amazing.
This is the way of giving us. We are giving back to the community. I mean, we have to. So yeah. So do you have anything to say, Pule?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we still have the time. I wanted to ask because obviously we're gonna work on editing this thing. I wanted to ask Michael with regards to some of the hotels or maybe the accommodation establishments that you managed to speak to some of their directors or some of their managers or some of their, the ones that you interviewed.
Yes.
What do they have to offer?
I went and saw the Victoria and Alfred Waterfront Hotel, and I was accompanied by Francis from Into Africa and Stefan from Newmark Hotels, which is the chain of the hotels. So Newmark have got quite a lot of properties in SA and in surrounding countries. Quite interesting places, actually. So I book a lot of my clients into the V&A, into the Victoria and Alfred Hotel. So I thought it'd be nice to go and see that.
What's that rate, are they?
I would say it would be a 4. It might be rated as 5 in some places, but it's a 4, I would say. Really good position on the waterfront. And if you come to the side, there's a lovely small hotel called the Queen Victoria. That's got about 36 rooms. The V&A hotel has something like 70 or 90 rooms, something like that. So it's about 3 times the size. But right on the waterfront. Amazing. This one is a little bit more private. And then I saw 2 other hotels called the Manor House and the Dock House. And they were just old, like the Dock House was the old dock master's house or something being converted into a small hotel.
Do they have other within their portfolio? Do they have other establishments spread out across South Africa?
Oh, lots. Yes, yeah, quite a lot. Going down to along the Garden route, coming to Eastern Cape, into KwaZulu-Natal, and then going north.
Maybe you can put all the weight out there for them to like maybe host us at some point.
Well, we'll put a word in, eh? We'll put a word in, definitely.
I think Newmark, the one that also owns like the Hallmark House there in Johannesburg. Yeah, I've seen. I've gotten like I always get the emails for them trying to advertise, trying to create some partnership kind of. Whereby we had the Newmark Hotel, and they started I think 2018, if I'm not mistaken. That's when they got into South African market. That's when I was partnering with some of them. They were, because I do book my people in certain hotels, and then at a very affordable price as well. So and then we're not going to always be in the studio, man. We need to get people
100%.
We need to get people inviting us to go and do the podcast there in their venues.
This is the introduction.
In showcase.
This is about travel.
Showcase,
so
I mean,
a lot of times we'll definitely be out of the studio.
Are we going to go to Leeds?
Introduction. 100%. For me, my request is when we come to Leeds, can you find us a pub that is by the river?